Hi, Salil.
Hello, Guy.
It's nice to have you with us today. Salil Aroskar is the lead in cyber risk management at Athena Health, which is an American healthcare IT company. We'll have a number of videos with Salil on trying to demystify a bit risk management and also trying to promote best practices in that area. Salil, we worked together in the past some years back, it was a great time. But your career has been naturally and nicely evolving since then. So we're looking forward to learn from you. And to mention, you are based out of Bangalore in India. So many people may not be so familiar with Bangalore. So also please share a little bit about what does it mean doing cybersecurity in India. So again,
Yeah,
thank you so much for being on this video, and I'll gladly pass on the mic to you.
thanks, Guy. My pleasure talking to you on this. As you mentioned, right, we had worked together. I was lucky enough to start my career in information security itself, starting from going into the data centers, hardening the servers, um, uh, doing vulnerability assessment, doing penetration testing. From there, I started moving towards application security and then towards trying to manage all the information security stuff for financial industries. And that is where I got an opportunity to work with a lot of people in India and outside of India. I started, I think around half of my career I worked in Southeast Asia and Singapore, Malaysia. That is where I started working with a lot of people outside of my country, and it was very interesting to get to know people, get to know their perspective. And also, when we started in cybersecurity in that region, right, everybody was eager about cybersecurity in that time. We got opportunities to visit manufacturing factories over there, including chemical factories. So it was a very interesting period in Southeast Asia. From there onwards, we started working in hardcore software industry, as you called it, in Bangalore. So yeah, you would be aware. Many of the people would be aware. Bangalore is sort of Silicon Valley of India, right? A lot of startups, a lot of innovation happening in Bangalore and in India right now. Right? So yeah, you're surrounded with a lot of high tech business over here, a lot of innovation, right, and a lot of companies that you get to work with. So yeah, there is a reason. Some part of my career I've been interacting with a lot of vendors, partners who help your business grow, right, and help us focusing on our business, whereas everything else may be handled by third parties. Right? And yeah, from there onwards, I moved to from manufacturing, from electronics, I moved to a regulated industry, right, a healthcare industry, if you will. And yeah, all the different domains coming from financial, then manufacturing, then to healthcare industry. It's really good experience, right? And as I mentioned, I've been lucky enough to start in security itself. Right? It's been around more than 20 plus years, so it's still willing to learn, still willing to get to know people, get to know how technology can help us secure our business.
So maybe you can give sorry to interrupt. Maybe you
Yeah.
can give us a bit of a sense. What were the major changes between manufacturing, electronics, and healthcare? How did you, from a security professional point of view, did you see a big difference?
Yeah. So if you go to, there's obviously big difference, but the fundamental remains the same. Big difference as in if you go to a manufacturing company, you have hardcore manufacturing production line, and then you have the IT that supports the production line. So you will see that the production line is completely disconnected from so-called the secure infrastructure that manages the production line. Right? So challenges in maintaining security in the production line is completely different with respect to maintaining security in an IT organization. Same to do with chemical industry. Chemical industry also, it's a different ball game altogether. With respect to cybersecurity, it may be the same, but respect to overall risk, if we say, then we have to take care of the hazardous chemicals. We have to take care of the physical security, physical safety, as you call it, OSHA, right? Environment factors. I believe ISO 14001. We have to use it for protecting us against environmental factors. And then coming to electronics. Electronics is again purely dealing with IT majorly, right? So slight different challenge. If you will see that the fundamentals would remain the same, whether in IT or manufacturing or in healthcare, right? We need to protect our information. We need to protect our infrastructure, but in different environments. We need to adapt. We need to be smart. Um, in using our technologies and how we manage all these three areas that I mentioned.
Yeah, I imagine. And it's always about critical information and how much you have and how sensitive that is. And so I guess manufacturing is mainly to, keep the production going. Chemical could be, things go wrong. There could be, also health impact. There could be environment impact, etc. And I guess in the healthcare industry, obviously there's a lot of sensitive information, and privacy is a very big factor suddenly in that
Yeah,
industry. Okay.
yeah, and you're right. Priorities change from one industry to another industry. As you mentioned, manufacturing is very important to keep the production line going on. So business continuity is really important. In chemical, safety is really important. Human safety as well as environment safety is important, right? Whereas if you come into healthcare, patient safety and the criticality of the information, protecting it is really important.
How did you see your career evolve? How did your thinking, in some sense, change? Or, because we all start with very the basics, and we learn, and we have little experience, and every job is a way to learn something new and maybe to adapt our view of the world. How has your view on security changed over time, or what have you learned over time? Maybe it's
Yeah, right. When I started, the vision was very small, right? Focusing on protecting this specific server or this specific device, right? As we grow, we get to know about how this server or how this device is impacting the whole business process. Right? And then we need to talk about how this business process is really critical to the overall business of the organization, irrespective of whether it's finance industry or healthcare industry. So, whatever small piece we do, as we grow, we'll come to know that the small piece that we do fits into the larger picture of the organization, and it becomes very clear to us saying that it's really important for us to understand the bigger picture in the organization, where what we do, how it helps the organization.
Is healthcare in IT a big thing in Bangalore, or is that a niche market, or is that a growing market? I have can you share maybe your
Yeah,
insight?
yeah, healthcare. I think it started around maybe 5 years in India, where healthcare IT started. The multinational companies who were dealing with healthcare started coming to Bangalore, trying to take advantage of the expertise that are there in Bangalore. Right, so it started with some insurance companies coming in to support their business processes, and now almost all the major healthcare companies are in India. Right, the healthcare IT companies are in India, but the other healthcare companies like pharmaceutical companies were always there in Bangalore, like GSK, GlaxoSmithKline, Novartis. These were there for the last 10 years or so. So I would say healthcare IT as such is evolving. More and more people in Bangalore or in India are focusing on healthcare IT, and you will see a lot of people serving in the healthcare IT industry in Bangalore as of today.
I assume, and I apologize if I simplified too much. I assume that more parts of the healthcare industry, the healthcare devices are digital devices. So the number of and the demands from health insurance companies increase. So it seems to me the amount of data and the type of data may be continuously increasing, both in types, sensitivity, and numbers. Is that the correct perception?
Yes, that's right. Right. It starts definitely with small, then it becomes now it is turning into millions of healthcare records that we deal with. Also, the type of data, right? Whether it is personal healthcare information or personal information itself. And when we talk about healthcare, we need to be very sensitive of the information that we are dealing with. Right? It's extremely critical that we, in terms of confidentiality, integrity, and availability as well, we need to ensure that the information is available to anybody who really want it at any time. Confidentiality, if we disclose personal information or healthcare information, I think there are enough laws and regulations that cover the sensitivity of the healthcare information around us.
Super. I would imagine that on the long run, even you mentioned some of the companies, but even on the long run, you may even have hospitals who may outsource some of their IT to India, because it's becoming a bigger and bigger part of their business, and they may look for expertise and as well as costs improvements in India, which is, I don't know, is it already happening, or is that kind of the next step, so that almost all healthcare actors are represented in Bangalore?
Yes, almost all healthcare are there. And it always starts with a combination of both things, right? For cost purposes as well, for saving the cost, and secondly, leverage the expertise that is available in India and in Bangalore. Right? So you will see more number of companies coming in, more number of hospitals taking advantage of Indian IT as such.
Okay, super. Um, Maybe you can, your role is you are the lead in risk management in Athena, a health company. What does it mean in principle? What do you do? Typically, what's your responsibility, or what's your activity area? Maybe you can share a little bit, because risk management is a very big word, so it's not that we have to a little bit qualify it.
Yeah, as you mentioned, risk management is a very big word if we just talk about it. But currently, we are trying to focus on cyber risk management, moving into enterprise risk management, where first we start focusing all on the cyber risks, trying to identify risks that impacts our confidentiality, integrity, and availability, and that involves managing all our third parties as well, understanding what our third parties risks are, right, and also taking care of sensitivity of the information that we deal with.
Well, I mean, we have just for the benefit of the audience, we have a number of videos planned to go more in detail about this, and I think in the next videos you'll see we'll focus on in the first ones we focus on third-party risk management, which is a very bigger and bigger part of overall risk management. Please stay tuned, I should say, to our channel, and please also subscribe to it because of the more things coming in the future in this area or other areas. Yeah? One next question I have to you is, you obviously have had already a longer and successful career. If any kind of advice, some wisdom you would like to share with your peers in the industry, what is it you learned which you would like to pass on in some sense?
Yeah, I think two main things that I would like to pass on. Right? First thing is do what you like to do. Right? Always be passionate in terms of what you like to do. If you like security, do it, and always be curious in that why I'm doing this, what if I do this. Right? Always be curious. And the second part is try to understand where do I fit into the bigger picture. That means you get a purpose to what you're doing. Right?
Now, you gave an advice to your peers, and thanks for sharing that. I think the next question is, that there's always a big difference between demand and offer. So there's so many open jobs in the security area, and on the other hand, there's more younger people getting into security. So what is it? And security is becoming more wider and more complex. Is there any advice you would give to anybody who's thinking about getting in security education, or who is at the very beginning of his career? He has so many choices and so many possibilities, and so little time sometimes. Is there anything you would give him on his journey as an advice to help him make priorities, make choices, and decide on the direction?
Yeah, as you rightly mentioned, cybersecurity in terms of a very niche domain, I would say, and there are a lot of demands, lot of openings that are there in India, and a lot of young generation is graduating, and they're looking for how they can contribute to the society. Right? So first thing is identify what you would like to do. Yes, it would be difficult to identify in initial years and what to do, but for example, if you like coding, you can get into security operations, or you can get into software security, which will really enhance your skills and you will understand the basics of security. If you're not into coding, you can go into some other areas in information security, like information governance. I think that requires a lot of skill and logical thinking in terms of how you're managing your security itself, right? So the bottom line is understand what you would like to do, understand where your aptitude is, and accordingly shift your focus into different domains in security.
I think even these days, people have to make choices. Do I want to become a generalist first and then specialize, or no? I should be really the world specialist in one vertical area. So it's many choices to make. When we were younger, security was much smaller. You mentioned that. We naturally grew with security, but now if you're young, you have a very wide area in front of you, and you cannot time-wise do everything. So should I go in one or the other area, or should I do general basics first, horizontal, and then go into verticals? Is for example, a very important choice to make. One question is, we have not prepared for that, is, is there any, in your area or in security at large, is there any book or anything you recommend, or any source of information on the internet you say, well, here is something good to start? Normally we look at the books, because internet, that's where we're doing every day, but sometimes we have to come back to the basics.
Yeah. What I generally do is I focus on what's happening in the world, right, with respect to cybersecurity. And if a topic intrigues me, I dig deeper. And then it is just layers, right? Start at the top, then go down deeper into it. Right? And you'll get to know a lot of resources are available, a lot of books are available if you are interested in. But it all depends on how much deep you want to go in a specific topic. These days you have AI helping you a lot. So maybe people want to know how AI is helping in cybersecurity.
I mean, I'm sure there's a big transformation of the industry due to AI in terms of offensive, defensive, but even in terms of mastering the knowledge. We'll add maybe your recommendations later to our library. In some sense, we're kind of to build a library for people to say, well, here are good references, because even security grows, the number of books also grow. But which one is a recommended one? So that's why this comes in. Any last thoughts you want to share with the audience?
I think taking on your message, taking on your message in terms of helping the new generation that is coming up, and if they want to do, or if they want to start in security as such, one message I would give them is be open to what areas they want to focus on, and stay hungry. Right? Be curious to learn things.
Super. Well, thanks very much. I think this is a good piece of advice. At this moment, I would like to obviously thank you for having introduced yourself and having, made us participate in your career and understand your choices and especially, gain insights from the wisdom you shared with us. I would like to also remind everybody that we're going to have a number of videos in more particular areas, in particular risk management, and within risk management, we'll focus maybe on the next videos on third-party risk management, which is a very critical area. Again, Salil, thanks so much for having shared all these insights with me and with our audience at large. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Guy. My pleasure talking to you.